everybody. Thank you for joining me once again, where people continue without little hindrance to be wrong on the interwebs. I know it's incredible, isn't it? This one's not a recidivist offender in terms of being dealt with by my good self here on this channel previously. This is a channel that calls itself the Stem Cell Channel from the Niche or something. And this little video is called Fact Check of Stem Cell Supplements, in which it's about 8 minutes and something long. I'll take however long it takes me to get through and correct anything that's not correct in this video. Spoiler, there's quite a bit of it. And we'll see you all at the end, hopefully. So let's crack on, Professor, whatever your name is. I forget what it is. Let's see what you've got to say about stem cell supplements, and we'll see if you're right.
Hi, this is Paul Knopfler at UC Davis School of Medicine.
Paul Knopfler, there you go. Professor Paul Knopfler.
I've been a professor here for almost 15 years. My lab does work on stem cells and cancer. At the same time, I've been studying the different products that are out there and injections and things like that are being sold by different stem cell clinics and other kinds of firms out there. Kind of doing a fact check on these different things. Posting on my blog, The Niche. So today's segment is actually on what seems to be a fairly hot topic, and that is what's called stem cell supplements. So the claims related to these are that taking a pill or drinking some kind of liquid solution will in some way help your stem cells and by extension, help your overall health.
Yes, that is the claim on a number of these products. Some of them are able to deliver. One in particular seems to be the absolute leader in the field that absolutely does deliver. And the rest, that's for another day. So, well, actually, it's for today, later on.
The bottom line kind of question is, do stem cell supplements work? One
does, at least. We'll get to that later, though.
To help you be healthier, to do something with your stem cells. And the simple answer is basically no.
Right, well, false. You've got that wrong, Professor Paul Knopfler. Absolutely, excuse me, absolutely false. Not so. There is at least one stem cell supporting supplement available for purchase today, made by a fine company with great ethics, that absolutely does exactly what it says it does, and that is, it encourages that person taking that supplement product. It encourages their bone marrow to release their adult stem cells of the 34 plus variety into their bloodstream, whereupon they go about doing their magics. Absolutely does work. What's next?
Fortunately, not at this time. They do have...
By the way, I always take health advice from people who seem to have their own house in order. Just an observation for what it's worth. I always tend to ignore folks who clearly don't have their own house in order. Okay.
Or work really well to make people a lot of money, like take your money away. So that's...
Yes, taking your money away. That's the whole name of the game, of course.
Really unfortunate. So let's go through this.
All right, so you've already put your cards on the table, Professor Paul Knopfler. You've said universally, you've made a blanket statement that these supplements don't work. That is false. I'll show that in a minute. Absolutely, with peer-reviewed evidence to refute your ridiculous claim that they don't. And now you're making statements around taking personal offense to somebody asking you for money for product. That's the way business is done, Paul. That's normal. Do you want us to give you product for free, perhaps? Is that what you'd like? You can get your product free from the company I'm joint ventured with, if you like. And if you want to know how to do that, it's very simple, not even difficult. I'll tell you how to do that if you contact me by email. My email address is on the About tab on my fine YouTube channel front page. What the heck? I'll also put it on the screen so you can just email me, Paul, and I'll tell you how you can get some product for free that actually does work. Or anybody else that wants to email me for the same information. I'll give it to you as well, because I'm that kind of generous person. What's next?
And kind of break it down in terms of what's going on in this area. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. so that we can look through a recent post I did on stem cell supplements together. All right. So hopefully.
So what you've now got up on the screen is your blog post, a non-peer-reviewed opinion piece by you. Your opinion has already been made clear, Paul. Do you have any actual evidence of any kind to share with us to support your claim, universally, blanket statement that these supplements do not work? No? That's what I thought. Professor, he says. I'm sure you are a professor, but professors behaving professorially provide evidence for their claims. Fail, Paul. Sorry.
This is popped up here. So again, this is my site, The Niche. It has a blog, but also has many other resources for people out there trying to learn more about stem cells. And here's a recent post I did, Do Stem Cell Supplements Work? So I'm just going to kind of scroll through this. So just for some background, I'm a cancer survivor myself.
Congratulations on that, Paul. That's great.
I'm out now like about 11 years from my cancer diagnosis and cancer surgery. So especially right after I got that diagnosis, supplements are really on my mind. Vitamin D, for instance, there is some literature suggesting that it could in some way be helpful for prostate cancer patients. I'm not so convinced about that anymore, and I only occasionally take vitamin D. But it's been interesting to see within the sort of stem cell arena, just the huge number.
The best way to get vitamin D at the appropriate levels, Paul, is to eat a species-appropriate, species-specific, ancestrally consistent diet for human beings and get a lot of direct sunlight on your skin, especially during the summer, with the caveat that the times of day that you should get that direct sunlight on your skin are when your shadow is shorter than you are tall. Okay?
Of supposed stem
longer than you are tall, not shorter. Strike that, reverse it.
Cell supplements that,
in other words, avoid the middle of the day when the sun is at its most overhead. That's what I'm saying. Hope that's clear. Sorry about that.
Come out there. So if you do a Google search, you're going to see just potentially dozens of these supplements.
Yes, there are a lot of companies offering products which claim to promote the release of adult stem cells. Very few of them can back up their claims with peer-reviewed independent evidence. I know of one company that has done, and I'm joint ventured with them for that reason, because their product does exactly what it claims it does, despite your blanket statement to the contrary, Paul.
That are out there alongside, just regular vitamin supplements, other things. One of the distinguishing things about these stem cell supplements is just how incredibly expensive they often are.
Again, that is a statement which is neither scientific nor rigorous nor professorial in any way. Market forces drive prices of product, Paul. That's basic economics 101. Expensive is an opinion statement, not becoming of a professor of science in any way, shape, or form. Ridiculous. The company I'm joint ventured with has a product at a very, very reasonable price, considering it does, with peer-reviewed evidence, do exactly what it says it does. Okay.
So, you might feel like you're spending a lot on vitamin C or D or a multivitamin, but these stem cell supplements are probably like 5 to 10 times as expensive as just your sort of typical regular old vitamins and other kinds of supplements.
So an effective nutraceutical product that actually does do what it says it does and causes you to release your adult stem cells, Paul, why would that not be more expensive than something that can be created in a lab very, very cheaply and easily, like ascorbic acid or vitamin D or any of those kind of things, and put in capsules and put in bottles and sent out to people? Do you understand remotely what the process is of getting an actually effective, safe, filtered, activated product from, for example, AFA, which is the active ingredient, a derivative from AFA is the active ingredient in the product that is made by the company that I'm joint ventured with. Do you have any idea what that process involves and what the cost of getting that together is? And what its value is to the person who is shelling out their money to buy that product? It's clear that you don't.
So one of the things these stem cell supplements are claiming is that they have sort of these anti-inflammatory.
Yes. The one I'm joint ventured with has an anti-inflammatory pigment which works directly on two separate inflammatory pathways to tone them down, Paul. Those being the COX-5 and the LOX-2, or the other way around, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Okay? It's been shown, it's been peer-reviewed, it's been assessed. That's what occurs. So yes, they're anti-inflammatory. They have anti-inflammatory properties.
The aging kind of properties. That's pretty much bunk.
No, it isn't, Paul. False. That's your opinion, obviously. Do you have any evidence that it's bunk?
Not much out there to support any kind of claims like that.
Yeah, there is, Paul. You just haven't obviously done an adequately competent search of the literature to find it. Perhaps you'd like to debate it with me face to face, whereupon I will supply you with any number of peer-reviewed publications that completely debunk the nonsense you've just said. There's a challenge for you. Wonder if you'll front up for that.
Some of the other things that are being claimed out there in these different advertisements and marketing that we're seeing, some of this is really clever in terms of how they're getting word out, is that the supplements actually contain stem cells themselves, like living.
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. Because the only stem cells that can be of any value to a person are their own, produced by their own body, released by their own body, under the influence of a number of different things that can cause that body to release those stem cells, including nutraceutical products that can achieve that. Those products don't contain stem cells, not human stem cells. And if they did, they wouldn't contain yours. And as such, those would be no good to you. So that's ridiculous.
Cells, which just doesn't seem possible to me as a stem cell biologist. These are like pills, dried things. Cells are very fragile. They need certain conditions to actually be alive. So typically your run-of-the-mill stem cell supplement, no, it doesn't actually have living stem cells in there.
No, of course it doesn't.
So these supplements range from just synthetic, chemicals and vitamins to bone marrow extracts. We're seeing a lot of supposed stem cell supplements from plants now too, like rose stem cell supplements, or another one that's really common now is apple stem cell supplements.
Yeah, all of those are nonsensical, Paul. I agree with you. None of those things will have the effect. There's no obvious mechanism by which they can possibly have the effect that they claim to have. And if those companies can't provide peer-reviewed evidence from independent scientists that show that it does have that effect, then they are misleading people. Yes, the company I'm joint ventured with is not in that situation. Our product does do what it says it does.
I don't quite know what they mean by that. Plants do have stem cells in them. I do wonder if some of these plant stem cell products, creams that people are supposed to put on their faces, are actually made from the stem of the plant, not so much stem cells. One of the most popular stem cell supplements I've seen, or at least it's out there a lot, something called StemKine. I've kind of gone through this. There are a couple papers published on it. I really don't see any reason why this particular supplement, there's really no evidence I've seen that has convinced me that it does anything useful. Some of the different supplements out there claim that they, quote unquote, mobilize your stem cells. So, we do have stem cells living in our bodies. They live in probably most of our tissues. The richest place for stem cells is probably our bone marrow. It's not entirely clear that we really want to mobilize our stem cells from our bone marrow.
Yeah, it really is very clear that that's exactly what you do want to do, Paul, in fact. And if you claim to be a stem cell biologist and you can't understand that, I suggest you return your PhD, resign your chair, and stop speaking publicly about this matter for all time. Because it's very, very clear what the benefits of having an increased level of stem cell resources released from the bone marrow to the bloodstream are. Very clear.
For instance, they're supposed to be in the bone marrow. They're just there as needed as we get sick or we need to, replenish our stem cells. getting a bunch of them out into our bloodstream on a routine basis, assuming a supplement even could do that,
which it can and does.
It's unclear.
No, it isn't. Still.
If that's really the case.
No. False again, Paul.
You sometimes see powerful drugs being used to mobilize stem cells, but those have been proven to get the stem cells out of the bone marrow.
Yeah, most of those powerful drugs that do that release the stem cells in such large numbers that the viscosity of the blood increases so vastly that it causes problems. It's contraindicated, Paul. It's dangerous. Okay? EPO, erythropoietin, is one such agent that can cause such a problem. Blood doping undertaken by cycling athletes most commonly is also of a similar kind of issue in terms of the blood viscosity and the risk of it, sort of thing. Like anything, there is too much of a good thing, and too many stem cells released too rapidly is a problem. But that's irrelevant to whether or not stem cell supplements that claim to assist in the release of stem cells in a usable, utilitarian and safe fashion do, in fact, what they say they do. And as I'm here to tell you, the one I'm joint ventured with does. Okay?
But just taking a supplement, would that really mobilize your stem cells?
Yes, still.
Unclear. And even if it could...
No, still not unclear. Still yes is the answer.
That's such a good idea. We don't really know.
Yeah, we really do know, Paul. It really is a good idea.
Regenix has stem cell clinics, but also has a line of supplements that's supposed to be a proprietary blend of vitamins, herbs, things. I really don't see how this would be useful for one's stem cells necessarily.
Well, that's why you should resign your chair, return your PhD, and remain silent for all eternity on this topic. Your level of competence in this field is clearly very questionable. You haven't even looked at the research to back up your claim, your blanket claim, your absolute claim that these things don't work. Because this one does.
It doesn't necessarily make sense to me. So those are some of the things I've kind of gone through in this post. Just kind of thinking logically,
No, I don't think that's what you've been doing, Paul, at all. I think you've been very, very emotional. And it's quite clear by your emotional language, your loaded language, and your total lack of any apparent scientific acumen of any kind. Sorry about that.
Any kind of supplement, generally you're going to take it as a pill or drink it. Some of these are liquids that are just like insanely expensive. It's like
Again, same as the criticism of that kind of language that I've already leveled, Paul. Same thing again.
Or milkshake, basically. Your body's going to digest whatever is in there in the way if there are any like protein.
So mechanistic speculation now, Paul. In the face of peer-reviewed, independent, scientifically conducted evidence that the product with the company with whom I'm joint ventured, the product does do exactly what it says it does. We're done here. You've been proven wrong. You need to withdraw. You need to actually delete this video, Paul. Probably close down your channel as well on YouTube, all of 800 subscribers that you've got or something. This is definitely a topic about which you should not be talking publicly. Okay?
Or anything like that, they're going to be digested down into amino acids, things like that. Are those really sort of talking to or being useful to your stem cells? Probably not. Other kinds of vitamins, things like that.
Did you actually have a plan, Paul, here at all? Any points that you were going to make here? Did you have a script outline or points that you felt you needed to hit? Because you haven't actually hit anything. You've waffled inanely for nearly 8 minutes, and you've provided nothing but your opinion, which is demonstrably false.
How would we know if they really help stem cells? There haven't been good clinical trials on that I know of.
Well, perhaps you should learn to do a literature search, because here's one. It's pretty clear.
I kind of think of these things as just really expensive vitamins or really expensive milkshakes.
Well, then you're ignorant, Paul. And your ignorance should remain your problem. You should keep your ignorance to yourself, son. You should not be making public statements in an area, claiming to be an expert in that area, when it is absolutely clear and patent that you are nothing of the sort. Okay?
Things like that. So again, big picture take home on stem cell supplements, it's a waste of your money.
Okay, wrong. False.
Even if they do something, if they're active in your body, we don't really know. Is that useful? Is that actually?
Yeah, we really do, Paul. We really do. There's a playlist on my channel that covers it. Okay, go and check that out.
Could that be harmful? So I don't think these are necessarily a great idea.
Yeah, well, your opinion is worth exactly nothing on this, Paul, clearly. I gave you the benefit of the doubt because of your academic ranking and status, attendant with that. And what you've done is you've given us a mindless opinion without any substance and without any evidence to back up anything you've had to say. You've got it wrong. You've just been called out by an actually scientifically competent person, yours truly, and you've been challenged to come and talk to me live, face-to-face on my channel, and we can debate this topic. I hope you're better prepared for that than you were for this video. I suspect you won't even show up.
Save your money, use it for something else that you enjoy more. Buy yourself some chocolate.
Oh, well, there we go. Credibility plus. Don't buy stem cell supplements. Buy yourself some chocolate. What I was saying earlier about always looking to see whether somebody should be taken seriously in terms of the advice they give. There are several clues, like whether or not they've got their own house in order, clearly, just with a quick visual. And then you just listen to them for less than 8 minutes, and there's your answer. It's no, not credible, not worth listening to. Go and buy yourself some chocolate. Okay.
I did do a post a few years back on what I was sort of calling natural stem cell boosts. And I've kind of amended this saying, do your homework. So I just want.
That's good advice, Paul. A person should do their homework before they make a video making statements publicly about something, especially if they're going to lean on their credentials as a professor in so doing. Seems that you've forgotten to take your own advice.
I want to briefly end this video by kind of going through things that actually make sense. There's actually data out there. So rather than popping a, $10 supposed stem cell supplement pill or something like that, I think exercise has really been proven to actually increase our numbers of stem cells.
Clearly, you're an expert in that field too, Paul. Exercise. I actually am, by the way. It's, the physiology of rest and exercise is one of 3 advanced research degrees I hold, actually, Paul. Do you?
May not be a very long-lasting kind of thing after one, session of exercising, but if you exercise routinely, that could be helpful to your health via an actual stem cell mechanism. Caloric restriction and fasting, there is some evidence that it actually sort of talks to or can have an impact on the number of stem cells you have. Mm-hmm. Not so sure about Tai Chi, but it's just something interesting I found out there. Sleep definitely has impact, I think, on our overall health, right? But could also impact our stem cells. We certainly don't want a ton of radiation exposure in our lifetime. Stem cells are sensitive to radiation as well. So these are the kinds of things, like logical sort of common sense health things could.
Yeah, logic and common sense, Paul, especially when you're claiming to be an academic at the highest level possible, are things that you should absolutely show. And part of common sense is making sure that you've done your homework and know the topic about which you are making public statements. And in this case, regarding stem cell supplements, you have failed. You have fallen flat on your face. You are wrong, demonstrably wrong, and I've demonstrated it. Okay? You should have the good grace to take this video down, close your channel, but not before posting a video apologizing for the misinformation in this one. Okay? That's what you should do.
be helpful to our stem cell populations in the long run. I'm not a physician, so I'm not giving you guys medical advice, but I'm just trying to give you an overall sense of like what kinds of things might make sense to think about. I think stem cell supplements really make no sense.
Yeah, you've said that. You haven't backed it up with anything. You've been proven wrong by a competent scientist. Unequivocally, absolutely wrong. Fact. So just repeating the same mindless opinion again has no bearing on the facts. This is embarrassing for you, Paul. Truly embarrassing for you. It should be if it isn't.
So I wouldn't recommend using them. Waste of money.
Well, you've said that as well already, and you were wrong the first time you said that, as I've shown in this video. Wow, by the way. Wow. Okay, absolutely. Tell us all about health.
Spend it again on something else. So
you like chocolate? Okay, good.
And this is Paul Knopfler, professor at UC Davis School of Medicine. Hope to see you again next time.
No, you won't. You won't see us again, I would suspect. And we should hope not to see you again, Paul. What do you think you're doing? And stop it. The rest of you, you know the drill. Don't let the door hit you in the backside on the way out. Enjoy the rest of your day doing whatever it is that you're doing. See you next time when someone else will be wrong on the interwebs, because it doesn't look like slowing down anytime soon, does it? See you then. Ciao for now.